Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable, a space where you're not going to be judged, a space where you can be authentic. And my hope and desire is to inspire and motivate everyone that click onto this podcast. So, welcome to another episode of Immigrate. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Immigrate. Guess what, everyone? I got a new microphone. Shout out to my husband. Yeah. So we're working on getting better sound. We're working on getting just a better quality of bringing you guys more a studio sound. So every day I'm getting better of this. But so welcome to another episode of Immigrate. I'm just excited to get on here because it's been a minute. I know it's been a minute. And I think it's so important right now. Let's talk about consistency, because consistency doesn't look like everyday consistency in people's mind. You don't have to get up every day and be motivated. Get that. You don't have to get up every day and be motivated. But you have to stick to what you started. Whatever you started and whatever the goal is, you gotta stick to it. You don't have to always be inspired, but you have to stick to whatever you have started. And I think that's what I wanted to talk about, because I was doing a devotional this morning. Shout out to my friend who have been encouraging us to just dig deeper, and I've been digging deeper. And again, that's consistency. And for me, is one of the things that I have been learning of how to constantly being consistent with what you are doing. And we're just gonna chit chat, but I really, as you know, I'm a Christian, so I always want to take a Christian perspective to it. And for me, I was studying First Samuel's 2, right? First Samuel's 3 actually, and how Samuel's, when he was lying in bed and he heard someone was calling him. Okay, let's put it down plain. He heard someone was calling him, and he got up like 3 times, and he went to Eli and saying, "Yes, my servant here." And Eli said to him the 3rd time, "If you hear that voice again, say, 'Hear my servant, thou listen.'" And I want to talk about if you're saying, "Okay, I'm ready to move to a new country, and I really want to move," or you just want to do something new and exciting. What is it that you want to do? What plans do you have in place in saying that I want to move to, say for example, we're in Canada. I want to move to Canada in a year. What are the plans are we going to make? We have to make consistency plan. I could remember when I was planning to stay here, and it was myself and 2 other girls, and we had our plans. But one of my goals, and I'm talking about myself, one of my goals, and it was, okay, I'm gonna call a bunch of people and ask them for money to help me, because I knew I didn't have the money to do it. Sometimes we have to put our pride away. But anyway, I did that. I had 5 people or 3 people who I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask them if they can help me to sponsor me, and then I got 3 out of that. Then I said, okay, I am a Christian. I believe in God and I do this. I said, I'm going to fast and pray for a week. Me fasting and praying for a week helped me to not just say I'm going to fast and pray, but I actually fast and pray. As I said, I'll fast and pray from one time to another, right? I'll fast and pray, say, from a certain time to a certain time. So me fasting and pray every single day, I will do it every Thursday. I think I did it every Thursday. So I really fast and pray every Thursday on a certain time. That was my goal of being consistent. And trust me, sometimes days I will not remember, but because I also were busy with whatever I'm doing at the time, I knew some weeks I probably didn't, but I said, okay, at least I'll pray. And eventually became a routine. So my point is that have a plan. Because when Samuel was there, he got up every time he heard the voice. He never sat down and like, okay, I don't know who's calling me. Every time I go to Eli is saying, not confirming anything to me. Eli said, no, I didn't call you. But he consistently going to Eli 3 times. And until Eli said, if you hear that voice the 4th time, then answer, because God is calling you. And I think that's one of the things you have to understand when you move into what else do you want to do? Make sure you know someone that you're moving into that relationship with. Like, for example, if you want to move, don't just say, oh, I know I have an aunt, I have an uncle, they have a friend. Yes, you know them 10 years ago. They're not the same people now. So you being consistent is saying, okay, I'm going to be consistent in planning. I'm going to be consistent in knowing that I haven't seen these people in a long while. Being proactive and understand that I'm going to make provision for myself. And making provision for myself meaning that I'll probably stay with them for a month. And for a month, I will do that with them. I'll stay with them for a month, and then I'll make my own plans. But be consistent with it. Because let me tell you, friends, when you move into a new country, people are never the same. They are never the same. They are different. People change. Even if you knew them 10 years ago, they have changed. Eli didn't change. Eli knew what God's voice was. God never changed, but people does. So because God's voice did not change, and he has not changed, Eli could have told Samuel, if you hear him the 4th time, that is the voice of God. Because God is consistent. Man is not consistent. And because another thing is, listen, if people show you who they are the first time, believe them. If you call your family overseas because you're planning like this, and you reach out to them, and they're like, yeah man, come man, it's good to come here and whatever, and come, but what? And they start asking you. So some of the signs when you should be careful. When they ask, they say, so what are the plans you have to stay? Do you have a job if you come here? They're already thinking. But again, when you move into another country, you can't say that you have to have a plan of your financial security. Know that your financial security got to be secure. You can't move into another country and not having finance. Faith is 100, but make sure you have something to sustain you, even if you're moving to a family. And I can't stress it so much. Do not make sure staying with a family, it's a limited time. Don't say, because they're excited to see you. They probably haven't seen you in a while, but yet make sure when you're doing it with them, they're aware that you're leaving. So they'll ask you, are you gonna study? Do you have a job? How much money you have saved up? And they're gonna ask you a whole bunch of questions. And then the next thing you want to do is, once, just like Samuel, he listened, he obeyed Eli, and he then said God, and then God told him what to do. So when we're making these plans, make sure that we understand what we're asking God for within the plans. And while we're doing that plan, we be consistently listening to God, because sometimes God speaks to us through these consistent time, and we don't listen, and we stick into our own little world. We stick on things that we think we know, or we said, okay, I know everything. But make sure while you're doing that, answer to God and listen to him and tell him what he's saying to you. Because sometimes, for me, when I was moving here, he showed me clearly what I needed to do, because I was daily, constantly praying to him and asking him to show me. Everybody Christian experience is different. I'm not sitting here and telling you that this is how mine is, yours is going to work out that way. Everybody has a different relationship with God. So your relationship with God is different. Your relationship with your family is different. Some people come here and it works out with their family, that they stay for a year, they stay for 2 years. Everybody's situations are different. But being consistent with your own self, be honest with yourself and be like, okay, I don't really know these people. My parents or whatever, I haven't spoken to them in a while. Doesn't mean you can't stay with them, but you're going to be consistent and say, you know what? I am going to do this and this and this and this to get out at this time. Have goals, set goals, and know that when you set these goals, be honest to yourself. Because when you're honest to yourself, things always work out better. I've seen so many people who have moved into a new country and they struggle to stay motivated because their false narrative of what their family or a friend or anybody they know or social media tell them, and then when they move into that, then they got shocked and they're like, oh no. God's word have taught us so much lesson. And this morning over this week when I was reading Samuel's story, that's what I've learned. Like, being consistent, it's a daily thing. It's going back and forth and consistent, and then make an attempt to do the things that you're supposed to. So you're not going to come here. It's okay. You move here. You're not going to come here and then, you stay with the family for 1-2 months, and then all of a sudden they kick you out. A lot of people gone through that. Because the reality is that when you get here, it's not the same as where you're coming from. People have bills to pay. People see you sitting around and not finding a job, or you cannot literally find a job sometimes. It's not as easy. They don't have patience. But you need to have that plan before you come here, knowing that in your mind, that make plans, and when making plans, be consistent with your plans and your goals. So this is just my little chat for today, and thanks for hanging out with me. And it was just gonna be a short podcast today, because I was like, we gotta be consistent. We gotta be consistent with ourselves, and consistency doesn't mean that we have to do it every day. We just have to keep going. You might not do it for 2 weeks, but just keep going. Don't give up. If you want to do something huge and you don't see the money or anything today, and you don't see the opportunity. I wanted to do something a month ago and it just didn't work out. Is it like a grand show that I won't do it. I probably will. I probably will eventually do it, but it's probably not the right time. And we need to understand when is the right time. And just read Samuel's, man. That the word of God is so nice and it's so beautiful. So I'm just here as a person who just genuinely care and want to be vulnerable. You like, make your plans, be consistent with your plan. Don't match your consistency with someone else's consistency. Don't look at others and say, well, they're there, they did this. My story is not your story. The way I do things is not. So I could always share how I did it, but say, this is how my thing works out. This is how I have gone. Like, check yourself and see how you have done things in the past. And sometimes it's good to reflect on those things because it teaches us how to do things in the future. But don't give up. Be consistent.